What's up guys, Omega here and welcome back to GT7, and today I'm going to be going through the BOP changes that we had as a result of update 1.43. I'll do my best to explain as simply as possible my understanding of the BOP system on Gran Turismo 7 in its current state and categorize the tracks for you into their low, mid and high speed categories. Then I'll go through the Group 3 BOP changes, low, mid and high speed, and then finally the Group 4 BOP changes, low, mid and high speed. The sources of today's video include GT Engine for the car data and a GitHub site for the track info, both of which will be linked in the description. So diving into the BOP and how it functions currently, the fundamental change that has happened in my understanding is that we have migrated from having one all-encompassing BOP, which was just mid-speed BOP. This meant that no matter the track, a mid-speed BOP was applied to the cars and all you had to do was look at one list of BOP changes, which was the mid-speed BOP, and you would know that the changes on that list were the car's new performance figures. But now it's a little bit more complicated. Low, mid and also high speed BOP have now been reintroduced as of the latest update. So basically this means that all of the tracks are now divided into three categories, either low, mid or high speed, and all three categories have their own BOP. So on different tracks, cars can have different performance figures, and a car's performance can even be different from a full track to a layout of the same track. So for example, Tokyo has one layout that is mid-speed and another one that is high speed. Now, as for which tracks are which BOP, I found a list on GitHub which is up to date as of the Watkins Glen introduction to the game. So only Road Atlanta, Grand Valley and the Nürburgring Sprint are not on the list, but all are mid-speed tracks and I've added them to the list. If you're ever unsure, you can also double check by going into the event, such as the daily race, and it will tell you here with either an L, M or an H, indicating it's low, medium or high speed BOP being applied. And it can also be found in the event settings just here. So starting out with the low speed BOP tracks, these include Tsukuba Circuit, Lago Maggiore Center, Center Reverse, East and East Reverse layouts, Laguna Seca, Alsace, both Village and Village Reverse, Sardinia, Road Track B, B Reverse, C and C Reverse, Willow Springs, Streets of Willow Springs and Horse Thief Mile, Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, and that is all for the low speed BOP tracks. And now moving on to the mid speed BOP tracks, these include Dragon Trail, all of the layouts, Blue Moon Speedway, Infield A and A Reverse, Lago Maggiore Full Course Reverse, East End, East Reverse, West End, West Reverse, West and West Reverse, Red Bull Ring and Red Bull Ring Short Track, Tokyo Expressway, Central Clockwise and Central Counterclockwise, both Trial Mountain and Trial Mountain Reverse, all the Kyotos, Alsace Test Course and Test Course Reverse, Fuji and Fuji Short, Sardinia Road Track A and A Reverse, Willow Springs Big Willow, Catalunya Grand Prix Layout, Autopolis and Autopolis Short Course, Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit, St. Croix A Reverse, B and B Reverse. And also for mid-speed BOP, we have Suzuka and Suzuka East Course, Interlagos, Goodwood, Spa and Spa 24-hour layout, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the Nürburgring 24-hour, the Nürburgring GP, the Nürburgring Sprint, Road Atlanta, and Grand Valley. So mid-speed being the most used of the BOP categories, as you can tell by the sheer amount of tracks. And then finally for the high speed BOP tracks, we have Northern Isle Speedway, Broadbean Raceway and Raceway Reverse, High Speed Ring and High Speed Ring Reverse, Blue Moon Speedway, Blue Moon Speedway Reverse, Blue Moon Speedway Infield B and B Reverse, Daytona Tri-Oval and Daytona Road Course, Deep Forest Raceway and Deep Forest Reverse, Tokyo, South Clockwise, South Counterclockwise, East Clockwise and East Counterclockwise, Watkins Glen Long Course and Watkins Glen Short Course, Monza and Monza No Chicane, St. Croix C and St. Croix C Reverse, Mount Panorama Bathurst Special Stage Route X, Le Mans and Le Mans No Chicane. I also, just to note, couldn't find anything on the rally tracks, such as Lake Lewis, but also other ones. I was a little bit confused looking for it, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave those out for this video. And guys, just before we move on, if you do get any value out of today's video, don't forget to let me know by dropping a like on it and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all so much. The next up is the changes made to the cars, which will be categorized into nerfed, balanced, buffed, and unchanged. The nerfed means the cars should now be slower due to either power reduction or additional weight added to the car, indicated by red on the table. Balanced means it's difficult to understand whether the changes are positive or negative for the car's performance. They're categorized by having good and bad changes such as weight loss and power loss, or weight gain and power gain, indicated by both red and green present on the table. Buff means the car should now be quicker, indicated by green, and unchanged means there has been no change to these cars' performance, indicated by not being highlighted at all. Although keep in mind, this doesn't mean that cars in the unchanged category cannot become better or worse as a result of the changes overall. So as other cars become worse or get better, these cars that haven't been touched would all of a sudden become usable or obsolete. Just, yeah, it's one of those things. And anyway, now that's out of the way and we have an idea of each track's BOP, let's move on to the Group 3 car changes. And also just a quick disclaimer that when sifting through large amounts of data like this, mistakes can happen, so inaccuracies are possible. It should be mostly good, but you'd never know. If you are in doubt, always just cross-reference to the website or whatever, or feel free to ask. Along with the changes I'll put on screen, tracks the changes are relevant to, starting with the nerfs. Group 3 changes for low speed tracks. So we have the AMG 2020 model, the Genesis, all of the Mazdas, the Atenza, the RX Vision, and the RX Vision Special Edition, and also the GTR 18, which have all had either weight added to them or power taken away from them. And moving on to the balances for low speed Group 3, we have the Genesis Hyundai and the Suzuki V, which have both had some power taken away, but also some weight taken off them. And from the acceleration performance times, it doesn't look like there's too much of a difference made. So it's one of those things that it's hard to tell how that will actually translate to the track, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Moving on to the buffs for the low speed Group 3, we have the Jag F-Type, the McLaren 650S, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, the Subaru BRZ, and the Subaru WRX. All of them getting a weight reduction except for the Subaru BRZ, which just has a little bit more power added to it. And for the unchanged cars, I won't name all of them, but feel free to just screenshot the list on the screen for reference if you need it. Same goes with any of the categories, feel free to do that, just to save a little bit of time in the video. But if you don't hear me mention a car in a particular group, then yeah, it hasn't changed. Now on to the Group 3 changes for mid-speed tracks. Starting with the nerfs, we have the AMG 2016 model and the AMG 2020 model, the BMW M6 Endurance and the BMW M6 Sprint, Genesis, the Mazda Atenza, the Mazda RX Vision and the Mazda RX Vision Special Edition, the GTR 13 and the GTR 18, all getting power taken away or weight added to them. And moving on now to the balances for this category of mid-speed Group 3, we have the Alfa Romeo 4C, the Aston Martin Vantage, the Chev Corvette, the Ford GT 2018, the Hyundai Genesis, the Jag F-Type, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Peugeot RCZ, the Suzuki V, and the Volkswagen Beetle, most of which have had a little bit of power taken away, but also a very decent amount of weight taken off them, except for the Aston Martin Vantage, which has had the opposite, a bit of power added to it and some weight added to it. So once again, hard to tell how these will translate to the actual track. And moving on to the buffs for the Group 3 mid-speed category, we have the Audi R8 Evo, the Citroen GT Citro, the Dodge Viper, the Ferrari 458, the Honda NSX, the McLaren 650S, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, the Renault RS01, the Subaru BRZ, and the Subaru WRX, all getting a weight reduction apart from the Subaru BRZ, which is just having a little bit of power added to it. And once again, same thing goes for the unchanged. I won't go through all of these, but feel free to screenshot this if you like. And then moving on to the final category for Group 3, which is the high speed BOP. Starting with the nerfs, we have the BMW M6 Endurance and the BMW M6 Sprint, the Ford GT LM race car, Genesis, the Mazda Atenza, the Mazda RX Vision, and the Special Edition Vision, the GTR 13 and 2018 model, and the Peugeot VGT. Moving on to the balances for the high-speed Group 3, we have the Alfa Romeo 4C, the Aston Martin Vantage, the Dodge Viper, the Ford GT18, the Jag F-Type, and the Lamborghini Huracan, mostly receiving a little bit of a power reduction along with a little bit of a weight reduction, apart from the Aston once again, which has had the opposite. And moving on to the buffs for the Group 3 high-speed BOP, we have the Audi R8 Evo, the Corvette, the Citroen GT Citro, the Ferrari 458, the Honda NSX, the Hyundai Genesis, Lexus RCF, the McLaren 650S, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, the Subaru BRZ, and the Subaru WRX, along with the Volkswagen Beetle, all getting weight reductions and or a little bit of power added to them. Once again, same thing with the unchanged. You can take a screenshot of that if you like. Now finally for the Group 4 changes, starting off with the low speed. And the nerfs, we start off with the SLS AMG, the Citroen GT Citro, the Ferrari 458, the Honda NSX, the Jag F-Type, the Mazda Atenza, the Mazda 3, the Peugeot RCZ, the Toyota 86, and the Toyota Supra. The Mazda getting a massive chunk of power taken off at 16 horsepower roughly. That is quite significant. And I know a lot of people were waiting for that one. There's no balances for the low speed Group 4. And moving on to the buffs for the low speed Group 4, we have the Corvette, the Ford Mustang, the Genesis G70, the Porsche Cayman, and the Renault Megane Trophy, all just receiving a little bit of a power increase. Once again, same thing for the Unchanged. You can screenshot this if you like. And then moving on to the mid speed for the Group 4 BOP, we have the nerfs, starting off with the AMG SLS, the Citroen GT Citro, the Ferrari 458, the Honda NSX, the Jag F-Type, the Mazda Atenza, and the Mazda 3, the McLaren 650S, the Peugeot RCZ, Toyota 86, and the Toyota Supra. Moving on to the balances for the mid-speed Group 4, we have the Hyundai Genesis and the Nissan GTR. The GTR getting a little bit of a power increase and also a tiny bit of a weight increase, and the Hyundai getting a little bit of weight taken away from it and some power as well. Moving on to the buffs for the mid-speed Group 4, we have the Alfa Romeo 155, the Aston Martin Vantage, the Audi TT, the Corvette, the Ford Mustang, the Genesis G70, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, the Porsche Cayman, the Renault Megane Trophy, Subaru WRX, the Suzuki Swift, and the Volkswagen Sirocco. And finally, once again, for the Unchanged, feel free to screenshot this for the mid-speed Group 4. Up next, we have the high-speed Group 4. Starting off with the nerfs, we have the Bugatti Veyron, the Citroen GT, the Dodge Viper, the Ferrari 458, the Honda NSX, the Jag F-Type, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Mazda Atenza, the Mazda 3, the McLaren 650S, the Peugeot RCZ, the Toyota 86, and the Toyota Supra. Moving on to the balances, we have the SLS AMG, the M4 BMW, the Ford Mustang, the Suzuki Swift. And for the buffs in the high-speed Group 4 category, we have the Alfa Romeo 155, the Genesis G70, the Hyundai Genesis, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, the Porsche Cayman, the Renault Megane Trophy, Subaru WRX, and the Volkswagen Sirocco. Once again, same thing for the Unchanged. Feel free to take a screenshot. Another thing to note is that there has been no changes to Group 1, Group 2, or Group B. So there you go. It's a lot to take in. Hopefully I explained it well and you learned something from this video. If you have any questions or you think that I may have gotten something wrong or left something out or whatever, feel free to ask about it in the comments below. And the way I tried to format the video is so it's like easy to reference back to when a combination comes up. All you need to know is the track and the car category. And you can screenshot all the buffs or whatever information you need and you can just look at it easily. Alternatively, you can just screenshot the entire tables from the website as well. But yeah, it's up to you. Anyway, as I said, hope you found this useful. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.